It may not be official, but it seems to be confirmed that Jalen Ramsey will be traded from Miami, possibly before training camp even begins. We'll talk about what Adam Schefter had to say about it, as well as the Rams in training camp set to face off against a familiar foe. We'll talk about all that and much more on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Giron. Remember, if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor. Press that subscribe button now, as roughly 69.2% of you guys are watching the videos already, but you're not pressing that subscribe button. If you're already watching a video, might as well press that subscribe button, as it doesn't cost you a thing, so you don't miss any daily Rams content here at the Rams Digest. Now, first things first, we are talking about another Jalen Ramsey update, and I want to say this. I did not want to talk about a Jalen Ramsey update, but here we go. Another Ramsey update here. This comes to us from Adam Schefter, the main guy who obviously always brings us the best NFL and, for the most part, most accurate NFL news. Adam Schefter gave us an update today, shared an update, Jalen Ramsey situation, saying he expects a trade to happen before training camp and that Ramsey prefers a West Coast team like the Rams or the Chargers. Shout out to Cameron De Silva of the Rams Wire for sharing this Rams Wire story, I believe written by Tyler Greenwald. We'll talk about everyone involved there in a second, what we're talking about. But I didn't want to talk about Jalen Ramsey. I was kind of hesitant to even make this a story, but the reality is Adam Schefter is bringing this to the forefront, saying not only is this going to happen, it is going to happen relatively soon. And that's kind of what kind of perks your ears up, as well as him saying it seems like a West Coast team is likely as well for Jalen Ramsey. So kind of very confusing mixed emotions, right? Sean McVay seems to almost shut the door on trading for Jalen Ramsey because of obstacles that are in the way. But then Adam Schefter comes out and says, no, it's probably going to happen, and it's probably going to happen kind of soon. Not to the Rams specifically, but to the West Coast in general. A trade is going to happen in general. So what are we really talking about? What is the truth? Again, not really my most favorite story to discuss. I was ready to move on from this. I was waiting for Jalen Ramsey to be cut, rather. But Adam Schefter gives update on the Ramsey trade timeline, preferred teams. This comes to us again from Tyler Greenwald of the Rams Wire. I want to say this as well. It's obviously a very fluid situation. We don't really know. Every single day it could be something different. Maybe Miami says they're not going to trade him. Maybe they says they're going to release him instead in a couple of weeks. We'll wait and see on if that's an update. But I do want to say, for anyone who is intrigued by this conversation, this is the latest of news that we're getting, right? Coming from, again, one of the best ESPN senior NFL insider reporter, Adam Schefter. He says Jalen Ramsey will get traded. It'll be, I would expect, before the start of training camp. We'll see how it shakes out, where he goes. Adam Schefter says that. He also, in that conversation, says West Coast team likely, maybe the Rams, maybe the Chargers. We got to remember, too, with the Chargers, they are a team that not only shares the stadium with the Los Angeles Rams, but they are very interested in cornerbacks right now, I'm sure. They're losing potentially their best corner in Asante Samuel Jr., probably, as he's not signed back with the team yet, possibly dealing with whatever medicals or whatever reasoning they're not signing him on their roster. They may be looking for a cornerback, a veteran cornerback, to add to this already pretty solid defense for them with the Chargers. We'll wait and see if that ends up being the case. Will they be interested in the sweepstakes for Jalen Ramsey since he wants to be on the West Coast? We'll wait and see. But, I mean, we saw these images, right, as well. Kind of a minor story, but you guys saw on the intro video, you see Jalen Ramsey, he was in Los Angeles as of Thursday, linked up with Eric Weddle to train with his son, Eric Weddle's son, on USC's campus. The Super Bowl reunion, obviously, kind of taking place. That's probably why they are connecting up here. But, hey, Jalen Ramsey is a Miami Dolphin. He's a Miami player coming out to Los Angeles, coming out to USC to work with his former Rams teammate's son. It is very intriguing to kind of see. They're reminiscing about their Rams days, reminiscing about winning a Super Bowl with the Rams. Obviously, the Rams are not in Los Angeles right now. They are in Hawaii with their Maui camp going on. But just, again, kind of another connection to see. He's in Los Angeles. He's working out at USC. He's obviously passing on knowledge to Eric Weddle, former teammate, passing on knowledge to his son. You can see his son's post right here. He says, this is Gage Weddle saying, great work today at USC football. Thankful for knowledge given from Jalen Ramsey. Hearing the stories from him and my dad were pretty awesome. Jalen Ramsey quote tweeting it saying, can't wait to see you. Keep ballin'. Love y'all, Maine. So, again, smaller story here, kind of showing he's in Los Angeles, working out USC, working out one of his former teammates' sons. Obviously, it could just be a very positive, nice thing that Jalen Ramsey is doing, and a coincidence that he's in Los Angeles because Eric Weddle is obviously in Los Angeles. Or it could be, hey, Jalen Ramsey likes being on the West Coast, likes being on the West Side, wants to be in LA, wants to stay and remain here in Los Angeles and somehow make his way back to either the Rams or, again, joining a new team with the Chargers. We'll wait and see on that, but that is a current update with Jalen Ramsey. Again, I'm not super excited to discuss it. I want to move off of it. I'm ready for him to just get released, hopefully, and that'd be the best case scenario for the Rams, but we'll have to wait and see. Are the obstacles too big for the Rams to trade for Jalen Ramsey, like Sean McVay said just a couple of days ago, or is this still a real possibility this happens before training camp? Are we going to see the Rams facing off, by the way, against the Dallas Cowboys in Oxnard? Are we going to see that happening at the practices in August going on, and is that going to be Jalen Ramsey on the roster by that time? We'll have to wait and see on that. Let me know how you guys feel about the Jalen Ramsey updates. I know we're probably tired of it, but let me know how you feel. Do you think this means something could happen very soon, or is this just more kind of dust in the wind, I guess, if you want to say so, and you want to move on from it in general? Let me know. Speaking of the Rams and the Cowboys, yes, I did touch on it a little bit, and I'm just going to go over this kind of quickly because I already basically touched on it. The Rams will face off versus the Cowboys, have a joint practice in Oxnard, which is actually very exciting, I think, for the Rams for multiple fronts, right? One, we've seen this happen before. Last year, the Rams did face off against the Cowboys last year. Seemed to be beneficial for both teams as they both had solid seasons. Obviously, the Rams having the better of the two seasons. So, maybe a nice mutual relationship going on here with the Los Angeles team versus the Dallas team that obviously plays and practices out here every single year in Oxnard, as Jerry Jones and the Cowboys have some kind of relationship with the Oxnard people, I guess. So Cowboys to hold joint practices with Los Angeles Rams at training camp. This comes to us actually from DallasCowboys.com staff writer Tommy Yerish. He's discussing, the Rams, they're going to be back facing off against the Dallas Cowboys. What's interesting about this is you're obviously missing out on the Maui camp unless you're out there in Hawaii, which I'm jealous if you are out there. But if you didn't get a chance to go see the Rams practice out in Maui, we now get an opportunity in Los Angeles to drive up a little bit to Oxnard, maybe an hour or so for most people, depending how far or how close you are, I guess, to the Woodland Hills and Oxnard area, I guess. I know that they're not together, but you guys get what I'm saying. Depending on how close you are to Oxnard, could be an hour or so of a drive to get up there. But overall, the Rams, again, facing off against the Dallas Cowboys. We'll be able to see both these teams in action if you want to make your way out. Who knows? Joshua Feinhersh and I have to discuss it, but maybe one or maybe both of us will be out there to watch the Rams and the Cowboys have joint practices in just a few weeks, or next a month or two away from seeing that happen. So we'll wait and see on that. Some more details here. I guess I just want to pull up some images from last year. You see Micah Parsons here getting the pass rush on Matthew Stafford. Obviously, they're not going to hit. He's not going to hit him, but very interesting to see that image there. Stafford looking to throw. Micah Parsons seeming to win his battle versus an offensive lineman or two to get to Matthew Stafford. So I think a pretty good battle for the Rams. A good test to go up against a team like the Dallas Cowboys, a very talented team, generally speaking, year after year. They are at least a competitive, usually playoff team, and so it's good kind of practice for the Rams, I should say, to get that action versus the Cowboys in training camp. I think it's a positive for sure. Moving on from that, last but not least, my favorite part of the episode, Trivia of the Day, where I ask a trivia question. You give your trivia guesses down below in the comment section, and whether you're right or whether you're wrong, we give you a shout out on the next episode. I may have missed the multiple choice options here from last episode, so forgive me that I may have forgotten that. But the question for last episode's Trivia of the Day was this question here. Which team was held scoreless in a Super Bowl? So out of all the teams, all the Super Bowls that have been played in the history of the NFL, which teams were held scoreless in the biggest game? I gave you guys multiple choice options. A few of you guys played along at home with the guesses. Here were some of the guesses last episode. Glider says D, no team has ever been held scoreless. Mighty says easily no teams has scored 0 points in a Super Bowl. Keith says D, although the Rams came close against the Patriots, unfortunately, which is correct. The Rams only scored about 3 points that Super Bowl. And was it Mike Romero says, I will say the answer is D. Again, no teams have been held scoreless. I thought I might have tricked a couple people, but I guess not. All of you guys got the answer correct. The correct answer is no team has ever been held scoreless in a Super Bowl. Although, like Keith said, Rams almost did it. Luckily, they were able to get that field goal off. But overall, no team has ever been held scoreless. I think kind of an interesting fun fact about the Super Bowl, by the way, that no team has ever been held scoreless. You would think it would at least happen once in the history of the NFL, but I guess not. Moving on to appreciate all of you guys, by the way, for playing along with the trivia of the day, for getting it correct. I appreciate all of you guys for your guesses. If you want to get a shout out just like these folks on the next episode that I'm on here at the Rams Digest, go ahead and play along with today's trivia of the day, which is this question here. Which quarterback first said, "I'm going to Disney World" after the Super Bowl? It's kind of a very famous, infamous, I guess you can say, quote for some. It depends on who you're talking to. Kind of interesting, always kind of been a part of my NFL history mind, I guess. When you win the Super Bowl, you win a big championship, what do you say? And a lot of times people just mess around. You win a championship as a kid, they say, "I'm going to Disneyland, I'm going to Disney World," right? In Los Angeles, we do say Disneyland because we do have the Anaheim Disneyland out here. But which quarterback first said it? First ever said it after winning the Super Bowl? "I'm going to Disney World." Was it A, Joe Theismann? Was it B, Doug Williams? Was it C, Joe Montana? Or was it D, Phil Simms? Again, which quarterback first said, "I'm going to Disney World" after the Super Bowl? Give your guesses down below in the comment section. Whether you're right or whether you're wrong, we give you a shout out on the next episode that I'm on here at the Rams Digest. Other than that, that's going to do it for me on this episode of the Rams Digest. Remember to subscribe to the channel, please. If you're not subscribed already, that's going to do it for me. I'm your host, Joshua Giron, and I am out.